Every week, the Xfinity editors pick the TV show, movie, or special event they are most excited about right now. And this week, I will kick things off because I am really excited about this premiere. It is the brand new Hulu thriller series, A Murder at the End of the World, which premieres November 14th. Let's take a quick look at the trailer.
I sometimes wonder, would it have been better not to go? I think about it like a coin toss.
There'll be times
when their life
when my crimes
can go one way
will seem almost unforgivable,
or another.
I give in
When they're trapped
to sin.
at the end of the world,
You have to make this life livable.
there's no going back.
Welcome. It's so exciting to see you all here.
No escape. I think there's something going on here.
I am so excited for this one. This FX on Hulu series stars Emma Corrin, best known for playing Princess Diana on The Crown, as an amateur detective named Darby Hart, who is among 9 guests invited to a retreat hosted by a reclusive billionaire. But when one of the partygoers winds up dead, Darby must figure out who done it before the killer does it again. And I know this synopsis does not sound particularly original. We've seen it done in Clue, Gosford Park, Knives Out, Murder on the Orient Express, at least a dozen other movies. Anytime there's a dinner party at a mansion, someone winds up dead. But I'll tell you why I have high hopes for this show. It is Britt Marling and Zal Batmangley. And if those names sound familiar to you, maybe they don't. They were the co-creators of the fascinating and mysterious 2016 Netflix series, The OA, the brilliant 2011 cult thriller Sound of My Voice, and the similarly excellent 2011 sci-fi drama Another Earth, which Marling co-wrote with filmmaker Mike Cahill. In short, nothing Britt and Zal do is average. Nothing they've created is quite what it seems on the surface, and I have complete faith that A Murder at the End of the World will be something special. Marling also co-stars in the series alongside Emma Corrin, as I mentioned, Clive Owen, Alice Braga, and Jermaine Fowler, just to name a few. I'm really psyched for this one. I don't know, Nicole, Sammy, if you have any thoughts about it.
I haven't even heard of this one, so I'm glad you mentioned it. Like, where has Clive Owen been in this like world? But no, I love a good murder mystery, so put me down for this one.
Yeah, this is my favorite. I know you said it's not a particularly original plot, but I love this trope of strangers invited somewhere by, it's usually a billionaire. It's usually somewhere remote, and someone always ends up dead, and you got to find out who did it. I just love that storyline. It's been done so many times before, but the murderer is always someone new, you know?
I think this is going to be special. I mean, the FX on Hulu brand also rarely misses. I think there's a lot going for it, so really excited. And again, Britt Marling, Zal Batmangley, Another Earth, Sound of My Voice. If you've never seen those movies, I think those are 2 of my 5 stars on Letterboxd out there. They're just incredible. They're so good. Anyway, I could go on and on. So that's what I'm looking forward to this week. Nicole, what is the premiere you are most excited about right now?
All right, so I'm gonna have to go with Scott Pilgrim Takes Off. Fans of Scott Pilgrim versus the World, released in 2010, have long awaited this return, myself included. But now you can watch this series. Premieres on Netflix starting November 17th. Let's watch a clip.
Sex before! 1, 2, 3, 4!
Yeah, so not sure if you guys caught this, but all the key players are back. I mean, how amazing is that? You have Michael Cera, Aubrey Plaza, Mary Elizabeth Winstead, Brie Larson, Anna Kendrick, and even Chris Evans as Lucas Lee. So I love that they all came back for this. You know, it's clear that they had a great time the first time, so I hope it's going to be another fun one. And by the looks of it, it'll be fairly similar to the movie. So, you know, Scott encounters all of these 7 evil exes in order to date the new girl in town. They all live in Toronto. Now it's got this anime feel to it, which is pretty cool. I also like that they made it into a series. I'm hoping each evil ex gets an episode. We'll see. But yeah, super excited for this one. David, I feel like you're a gamer. Is it something you're interested in?
I am. And I do have, I don't know how to explain it, but I have had multiple instances with Michael Cera movies where I watched them the first time and thought, this is the funniest thing I've ever seen. I remember watching Youth in Revolt and leaving there and thinking, there will never be another comedy as funny as this. And I watched the second time and like hated it. I didn't laugh the whole time. And I felt that way about Scott Pilgrim. I didn't hate it upon second watch, but I didn't like it as much as I did the first time. I don't know why. That's not to say I'm not excited. I don't know. Maybe it's a specific Michael Cera thing where his shtick is funny once, but then when you have seen it, it's not again.
Like it gets old,
but
maybe? Yeah.
The way this is stylized, the video game, I'm not like a huge anime guy, but this just all works for me. And I love that all the stars are back, gives it total like legitimacy. I'm into it.
Yeah, I mean, they did the pixelated thing for the movie, and I love that they're doing this animated thing now. Youth in Revolt, I feel like we should revisit that. I mean, there are some funny parts in there. Him as Francois, like flipping the cereal bowl.
I can't believe you remember any part of Youth in Revolt, but yes,
it cracks me up to this day. Anyway.
Sammy must be looking forward to this.
I am. If Nicole didn't choose this as her pick, I would have. I love Scott Pilgrim versus the World. I love that I read that Michael Cera actually called each individual cast member from the original movie to ask them to return for this series to do the voices for, which I just think shows like you said, Nicole, how much fun they all had making the original and that they're all still in touch and will pick up the phone when Michael Cera calls and asks them to do another project. And also I'm a big fan of anime, so I love when an animated series like this kind of hits the mainstream and gets more adults watching cartoons. I just hope that Brie Larson gets to perform her song again. What's it called? Black Sheep, the metric song. I hope she performs that again. It's just so good. And I hope they put it on Spotify or any streaming music audio service.
Wholeheartedly agree to that, yes.
This is a very good pick, Nicole. Sammy, you weren't able to pick this one, but what was your runner-up for what you're most excited for this week?
Not a runner-up. Still very excited for this movie called Rustin, which premieres this Friday, the 17th on Netflix. Let's take a look at the trailer.
On August 28th, black, white, young, old, rich, working class, poor will descend on Washington, D.C.
This new generation is restless and angry.
Your mere presence could derail the fight for racial justice in this country a good 10, 15 years.
On the day that I was born black, I was also born a homosexual.
Sometimes you gotta fight back to get We're calling for a peaceful march on Washington.
We are committed to the cause of altering the trajectory of this country towards freedom. They either believe in freedom and justice for all, or they do not.
Rustin, directed by George C. Wolfe, whose most recent project was also directing the 2020 Ma Rainey's Black Bottom, follows Bayard Rustin, who I'm embarrassed to say I did not learn about in school growing up, but was a critical advisor to Martin Luther King Jr. and dedicated his life to racial equality and human rights, but was largely left out of the history books as he was an openly gay man. He, like I mentioned, was instrumental in the organizing and execution of the 1963 March on Washington. And it is such a shame and so frustrating to not have learned about so many critical and important figures from this time simply because of who they loved or who they were. But I'm so thankful for movies like this and biopics that are being made and can tell these stories on a much larger scale. As you could see in the trailer, the movie stars Coleman Domingo as Rustin, as well as Chris Rock, who I don't know if we saw in the trailer, but he's also in the cast list. Lenny Kravitz also wrote and performed a new original song for this movie called Road to Freedom, which I'm sure we'll see as an Oscar nom later this year, or at least an Oscar performance. And I just wanted to read this quote that when Coleman Domingo was named as being the actor who was going to play him, the Bayard Rustin Center for Social Justice came out with a statement that said that your powerful voice helps amplify Bayard Rustin, godfather of intersectionality, planned the march, brought nonviolence to the movement, inspired freedom writers, and was lost to history because of who he was, who he loved, who he was. Angelic troublemakers unite. And I just thought that was a beautiful statement to kind of encompass who this man was. And I'm very excited to see this movie.
Coleman Domingo has never given a bad performance in his career. He's incredible in everything. I think I don't know what everyone's first experience was, but like I remember seeing him in Euphoria in the small part he had there, and he was so excellent and so powerful in that first season, I think, and then also the holiday special that they did during the pandemic that had come out. I mean, he's just incredible. And sign me up. Also, Jeffrey Wright, I listened to him do absolutely anything. So heard his voice and I was like, you've got me. And this is, as you said, Sammy, a story and a person that I'm not familiar with.
Yeah, I was able to see this at TIFF. I absolutely loved it. I agree, Sammy. This has definitely Oscar potential, at least for Coleman, at least. And, obviously I won't spoil anything, but there's just one line he said that always resonated with me. It's like, either you believe in liberty and justice for all or you don't. And it just spoke volumes, because obviously we were all fighting for equality, and yet he was treated a little differently because of who he loved. So it's a very powerful movie. I also didn't know who he was until I saw the movie. So I love that we're getting into this era where we're just kind of covering history through movies and TV, educating us about the real people who were behind all this. Because, as you can imagine, it's no easy feat to organize this, huge historical march in 63. But I absolutely loved it, and I hope everyone gets a chance to see it.
It's going to be really interesting to see Lenny Kravitz performing this song back to back with Ryan Gosling singing I'm Just Ken. It's going to be a real...
I'll have to bookend those.
Weird lineup of musical acts this year.
Yeah, they'll have to do something.
Another great pick, Sammy. Thank you. And you can check out all the TV shows and movies we just discussed and so much more simply by saying what to watch into your voice remote right now.